Welcome to the 5 on 5. The guest is Susan Saladoff, a producer of the award-winning documentary Hot Coffee. Tell me a little bit about what this documentary is about.
So the infamous McDonald's coffee case, everybody thinks they know, but most people have the facts completely wrong. And this movie starts with that case, tells the truth behind it, but it goes much further. It essentially shows how we as Americans are giving up our rights to access the court system, and most of us don't even think about it or care about it until something happens to us personally or to a loved one.
How did you make a connection between that case and what went on into this bigger, broader spectrum?
Well, I practiced law for 25 years, and I knew how important the civil justice system was, and I knew that most people didn't understand the civil justice system and hadn't thought that the system is broken, that our court system and our jury system is broken, because there was so much money that was spent by large public relations firms hired by corporate America to convince the public that the system is broken. Because if people think that our court system isn't working, then they're willing to reform it or change it, which most people think is a good thing until they realize what's really it means is that they're giving up their constitutional rights to access the court system so that corporations can make more money. Because if we can't hold wrongdoers accountable in our courts, then they can make products that harm us, they can pollute our streams, they can do all of these things and not be held accountable. And so that's what I knew, and I made this film to let the American public know that.
When you looked at the case, I know you want people to come see the movie, but what are some of the big things that stood out, that really jumped out? You said, I have to make a documentary about this.
Well, you know, it's so interesting. This case happened in 1994. That's when the verdict happened. But I don't even know how old you are, but you probably are not much older than that. And you probably know all about that case because it was a Seinfeld episode. It was a big joke, right?
Oh, yeah.
Everybody thinks, oh, how ridiculous. A woman spills coffee and wins millions of dollars. Most people don't know she was 79 years old. She had never brought a lawsuit a day in her life. She was a passenger in a parked car. She wasn't driving the car. The coffee was so hot that it caused third-degree burns when it fell on her. Third-degree burns, which are the worst kinds of burns that you can have, within 3 to 7 seconds of contact. She had to have skin grafting, skin taken from her thighs and sewn into her private parts. McDonald's had been cited over 700 times for burning people with coffee that was too hot. And then the jury, everybody thinks it was such a crazy verdict. It was 2 days of coffee sales for McDonald's, which turned out to be $2.7 million. The judge then reduced the verdict to $480,000. They wound up settling the case, but she was subject to a gag order and McDonald's wasn't. So everybody thought, oh, how ridiculous, but she never was able to tell the facts, the true facts of this case.
Wow. I have a few more questions for you, so stick around. More 5 on 5 right after the break. Welcome back to the 5 on 5. The guest is Susan Saladoff, producer and director of the award-winning documentary Hot Coffee. We've been talking a little about the case that everyone's been at 1994, and you went into it a little bit. I want to talk about the people's reaction, because a lot of people when that first came out were just completely upset. Is this what our justice system has come to? You sue over coffee that's too hot. Are you seeing some of those same people now have a completely opposite reaction once they've seen this movie?
So this film has been seen by millions of people because it was on HBO. I've also done, dozens of film festivals. And every time at the Q&A, I start by saying, how many people knew about this case before you walked in the door? Everybody raises their hand. How many think that it was a frivolous case or ridiculous? Everybody raises their hand. And then I said, how many now think that? Nobody raises their hand. That's the reaction. People say it is eye-opening. It is a game changer. Once they see what really happened, then they're like, it's sort of like this little thing flips in their brain, and now they're open to understanding, what else have I been duped about? What else have I been led to believe to give up my rights and vote against my own self-interest that I didn't know about?
What are some of the other key points that you visit in this film?
So because I practice law, I did the film as if I would try a case. So there are 4 exhibits in the film. The first exhibit is what I call the public relations campaign, which is about the McDonald's coffee case and how people got it wrong. And then there was legislation that was enacted as a result, because people were voting for it, called caps on damages. In most of our states, we have limitations on how much money we can get in a case. And I document a real story about what that really means to people. And then the third exhibit is we are voting for judges now, and when we vote for judges, judges have to run for office and raise money, and then they're beholden to those who give them the most money, and we don't know this. And these are our state Supreme Courts that are essentially being bought and paid for by people like Karl Rove. And then the fourth storyline is about what's called mandatory arbitration, which people gloss over their eyes, except when you realize that you are signing away in every single contract that you're asked to sign, and even those that you don't sign, like your cell phone or your credit card, that just by using the product, you're agreeing to this, you're signing away your rights to access the court system. And what does that mean? It means that if you ever have a dispute with this company that you have this contract with, they pick the decision maker, pay for the decision maker. The decision maker doesn't have to come up with a reason why he or she gave the decision. It's completely secretive and there's no right to appeal. So who wins? Not you and me, but the large corporations that hire these people over and over again.
Quickly, tell people when they can see this.
Yeah, so if you have HBO, it's been on HBO, it's still on HBO Go, which you can stream. You can get it on Netflix DVD, but tomorrow night here in Southern Oregon at SOU, there's a free screening. It's at 6 p.m. at the Mies Auditorium in the art building of SOU. The film is 86 minutes, and then I'm going to do a Q&A afterwards.
All right,
also, I'm sorry, can you buy it? You can buy it at hotcoffeethemovie.com. There's a DVD, or you can get it on Amazon.
Perfect. Thank you so much
Thanks,
for joining.
Joe.
I appreciate it. That's it for the 5 on 5 on News Radio.